Hey guys, so happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. I want to just talk about the miracles of life, including the miracles of our mothers and childbirth. But right now I want to talk about the miracle of just God's hand of protection on us, and just in general, the miracles that Jesus Christ is performing. And if you've ever watched your child be born, you understand the miracles of childbirth, but also the miracles of your wife or your mother. Obviously, you didn't watch that happen, but you know what happened. And the idea that we are absolutely created by our Creator because He loves us, in the miracles of childbirth, the miracle of the womb, the baby in the womb, and how it's all made and created. It's absolutely miraculous. But here, my oldest daughter, who was born as a miracle, not to get into it a whole thing, but my wife hemorrhaged and died shortly after giving birth to my oldest daughter. It was the scariest moment of my life. The nurses all come running in, and I'm holding my daughter after hours and hours of labor. It was 30 some odd hours, 36 hours, and so there was some complications. And so I'm holding my newborn daughter, my first child, and my wife, I watched her, she's talking to me, but she's so uncomfortable. And then she just said, "Oh, that feels better." And my wife went out, and I watched the life go out of her. Just me and her standing there with my daughter in my hands, just watched the life go out of my wife. The scariest moment of my life, hands down. There's not even a close second, I don't think. I'd have to really think, and I could tell you some scary stories, but nothing compares to that. The rest of them are all involved with me and my life being threatened, but that was scary. But the doctors came in, the nurses came in, they just did their jobs. They rushed her out, and she ended up in surgery. They ended up getting the complications dealt with. They revived her. We've been able to have over roughly 20 years of marriage since then. I think July we'll celebrate 20 years. So that miracle was so evident in my life. And while I didn't know who Jesus Christ was, and I chalked it up as coincidence and good doctoring skills, what I come to realize now is how the hand of God and His protection is on us at every moment. And so I'm sitting in my truck right now, and I'm about to show you. The other day, me and my daughter, my oldest daughter, that daughter, were in the truck, and we were talking. And here, let me flip this around. And we're talking, and here's where I'm in my truck. She was sitting there, and I'm leaving this parking lot, and you can see what you're looking at right now is train tracks. And I get up here, right about here, and I'm checking right now because this is the scariest moment. All I hear is an oncoming train, literally bearing down. About where you see that ladder, he hammers on his horn as I'm sitting on the tracks with my 19-year-old daughter. I would like to tell you, there's some scary things that make you think after, right? Times in our lives, right, that we have done things, and after you're like, woo, that was close, and it's scary, right? And then the thoughts of it, you I've obsessed over it for 4 or 5 days. I'm gonna share that my life to myself, it doesn't mean much to me. But my life to others does mean something to them, and I'm an integral part of my family's life. They need me, and I know I need them. But I was just like awestruck with the idea of I was in a moment's notice stopped paying attention, and I let my judgment lapse, or my concentration. And my daughter she's so dear to me. All my kids are so dear to me, and she's in my truck. We're just having a nice conversation and just enjoying a few minutes together. She just got home from college and all that, and just my lack of concentration in one moment as I went up onto the tracks and looked to go over those tracks to the other side. A train whistle, horn blares at me, and I'm stuck on the tracks. I wasn't stuck, I was on the tracks. Now I have to make a decision in that moment. Do I proceed forward and beat the train across the tracks? Do I try to beat the train across the tracks? Do I stop and put it in reverse and back up off the tracks, right? And it's quick. I mean, he was right there. He was on us, and he was coming through here because let me flip. So these tracks right here, there's no warning signs, right? I'm in the middle of nowhere. You can see it's a dirt road, right? And so these tracks here, they're used more than I really know, because I'm not in town during the day very often, but there's a couple different barley distributors and stuff like that right in town. I actually did all the wiring for the silos, but that's not here. That's neither here nor there. So I know these train tracks are used, but I've been across these tracks back and forth countless times. In fact, one of the other scariest moments I've ever had happened right in this parking lot that I'm sitting in right now. I won't go into it. It'll just assure me. I'm going to assure you, it was extremely. It was scary, and it was actually one of those moments where I recognized the hand of God and His miracles and protection. So I feel like this spot right here, as I'm talking to you, it just dawned on me. God's hand of protection in this spot for me is extremely evident. The miracles of God and His hand of protection on my life, I can't chalk them up as coincidence. You know, I don't know how close that train was to hit me. The incident, you know, a few years back in this parking lot, I don't know how close to losing my life I was that day. I know it was close. Then what followed after that was a remarkable miracle of God, that I left this parking lot with my life unscathed, driving away. And you know, so easy we chalk it up as coincidence. The miracles in our lives get chalked up as coincidence. Now let's go for a walk. I want to go for a walk. We'll talk about this as we go for a walk. As it talks about. So this is a story 2,000 years ago. You can go read about it in the Bible. Go open up John. You can read about it. I'm walking out these tracks, and anyways, I was thinking, you know, that sometimes I think, like, did he really Lazarus from the dead? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Do you believe that this is the God of the Bible? Do you believe the Bible stories are real about God? And do you believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, and that the miracles in which He performed are the truth, and are in fact, the word I'm going to use is gospel. Like, they are truth. They are the fact. You ever heard that expression? You're going to take it as gospel. You know what that expression is going to mean? Is the gospels are, in fact, the truth. So are you going to take this as gospel? Are you going to take this as truth? Are you going to take the miracles in your life as gospels, as truths about who Jesus Christ is and what He's done in your life? The train that came down and bore down on me and my daughter, he was yards away from striking my truck. And I'm not going to say it wasn't just human instinct and reaction, okay? He laid on his horn. I looked, saw him, got the truck in reverse, got off the tracks, and he went barreling by. Yep, it could very well be I reacted in an appropriate manner based on him reacting in an appropriate manner. But the idea that we can't just chalk everything up to coincidences, that there are miracles in our lives that are nothing short of the hand of God and His protection on us. George Washington went into battle in the French and Indian War. He was ambushed by Indian soldiers, all right? And they had ambushed George Washington up on his horse. This is only 200 years ago, or a little over that. I know it's maybe hard to believe that Jesus Christ raised Lazarus from the dead. Or maybe it's even hard and you want to chalk up the fact that I wasn't killed, my daughter wasn't killed by this train as coincidence. 200 years ago, George Washington is ambushed, and all his infantry is ambushed, and fellow officers are ambushed. The directive from the chief Indian to his soldiers was to shoot the officers on the horses. You'll be able to know who the officers are because they're going to be riding horseback. The Indians, you can go look this up. This is knowledge you can go find anywhere online. This is the truth. He was shot at. A bulk of his infantry is shot and killed. While George Washington remained, two horses were shot out from underneath him in this battle. When he leaves and gets home, what's he find in his jacket? He finds 4 bullet holes in his jacket. He finds a bullet hole in his hat. George Washington got to see the hand of God reach down and protect him from being shot and killed. You got to ask yourself, why does he protect George Washington? Why did he protect Dana and his daughter from the oncoming train? Why? How does he pick and choose? Well, that's a question for God. But here's what are we going to do with those miracles? What are we going to do on the backside of them? Are we going to chalk them up as coincidences? Are we going to chalk up the miracles of birth, the miracles of the child in the womb, as something other than that? Something other than a miracle that a child is, once you've had a child and watched them be born? Or am I going to chalk up the miracle of my wife being resurrected by the she was dead? I saw it happen. I watched it happen. I watched the monitor go with my wife. Yet the doctors came in. Am I going to say, wow, those doctors did a good job? Or am I going to say that God had a purpose for her to glorify him in her life? That Ainsley and myself have a purpose to glorify him. That George Washington had a purpose to glorify him, and God wasn't done with them and their purpose. That Lazarus had a purpose to glorify Jesus Christ. What are we going to do with the opportunities that are given to us? Are we going to chalk them up as coincidences and mere close to death experiences, or are we going to see it for what it is? Are we going to see it for the hand of God reaching down, giving us new life, new opportunity? That when we're resurrected from our sin, are we going to then go and glorify him? When we see the miracles in our lives, like I just talked about in George Washington, I mean, it is a miracle that he lived through that battle. In fact, there's more than just that one. There's other documented historical events where George Washington is spared from numerous different afflictions in his life, because his purpose in America, in the birthplace as one of the founding first president, but also one of the greatest Americans of all time, was simply this: to make America great under the protection and the hand of God. And his life is evidence of who God is. The miracles in his life is evidence of who God is, who Jesus Christ is. The miracles in my life are the evidence of who God is. The miracles in my life are from the hand of God, that Jesus Christ is who he says he is. The miracle of Jesus Christ being raised from the dead is all we need to know about who God is and his love for us. So I stand here today, and I'm thankful that I understand why I'm still here today, and I'm not in a big box right now while my funeral is being conducted here. And it would have been probably this coming week if I'd been hit by that train. But so what I want to do is I want to stand today and first and foremost be thankful for my life, that Jesus Christ spared me, loved me, what he did on the cross, that the resurrection and the restoration of my life is nothing short of a miracle. Not being hit by a train, I'm not going to call it a coincidence. I'm going to say it was the hand of God reaching down saying, Dana, get off those tracks, and the conductor did his job and blew that horn, saved me and my daughter's lives. My wife being saved when my daughter was born. Yep, the doctors did their job, but it was at the hand of God they did their job. Go hug your mothers. Life is short. I could have been killed by that train, and if I was, I know where I'm going. It's okay too. I'm going to heaven. In that moment in my life, if I'm killed, I know my eternal destination is. First of all, do you? Second of all, don't take life for granted. Go hug your mother. Say Happy Mother's Day to her. Tell her you love her. Don't take each day as a miracle from God. Don't take it for granted. I can't take it for granted. That was too close of a call last week. I want you all to have a blessed day. Listen, if you like what I had to say today, hit like. Please subscribe so you can keep watching these videos. Enjoy this Mother's Day. Enjoy tomorrow. Get up each day and thank the good Lord that you got another breath in your lungs. Y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be blessed. Keep the faith, my friends.